Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and I'm just out and about running an errand at Costco. Wanted to talk about this particular situation involving Dave Filoni and the future of Star Wars animation on Disney Plus. And when I talk about the animation factor, at this point, I would go as far as to say that it's done, that it's kind of dead, that it's not coming back at least for a while. Disney's moving in other directions. So if you haven't been paying attention, obviously this last week, the Clone Wars wrapped up. Excellent, beautiful finale. Loved every second of it. That last shot was mwah, mwah. It was beautiful. I loved it. But then the question became, okay, well, what's next? Are we going to get that announcement of that sequel series, the Ahsoka and Sabine rumored series that was supposed to be coming this fall? That was coming out a few months ago. People were talking about that. It happened on May the 4th was the finale, thinking we're going to get the announcement. Dave Filoni planned for a GMA interview. Like, that's a good time to drop an announcement of some kind. Turns out, no, none of it happened. But in an interview, he was talking about bringing back Rebels for another season, like a season 5 of Rebels. And he says, no, he's not going to do it. He's not going to go back and do a season 5. So then the question becomes, well, if you're not doing a season 5, that doesn't negate the sequel series of Ahsoka and Sabine searching for Ezra. That doesn't go away. But we have to look at what's been popular with Disney Plus and Star Wars. And quite frankly, right now, what is the most popular thing about Star Wars that's out there? And it's The Mandalorian. And the sequel series, if it were to happen, would be happening right around the time of The Mandalorian. Hence why we're hearing that Rosario Dawson is going to be playing Ahsoka Tano in the show. And why we're also hearing that Tamara Morrison is going to be coming back as Captain Rex. Yeah, that's the rumor that's going around right now, that Tamara Morrison is going to actually reprise the role of a Jango Fett clone. And that is cool as hell, especially if it's going to be Commander Rex. Like, I am super excited for that, and I hope that's exactly what happens. But that's what we've been hearing. These are the things. So it looks, for all intents and purposes, that Lucasfilm and Disney have decided that Filoni is the future. Filoni and Favreau are the future. And the world that they created clearly has ties to not only the Clone Wars, but Rebels, especially dealing with not only Mandalorian culture, but the Darksaber. How did Moff Gideon get it? These are all things we don't know yet, that I'm sure we're going to find out in season 2, considering that Giancarlo Esposito has actually said that he broke 3 Darksaber props during the filming of season 2. So that means there's going to be some hardcore lightsaber action, and who wields a lightsaber? Ahsoka Tano. So quite frankly, at this point in time, that's what we're going to see. Now, we're also hearing rumors that apparently they want to do a show based around Caleb Dume, aka Kanan Jarrus. This is a big deal. This is another Dave Filoni creation that's going to be making their way to the live action. And it seems to kind of make the most amount of sense if you think about it. And let me explain. So when you had Clone Wars coming out under Lucas, when Lucas ran the company, and then it being canceled kind of unceremoniously when Disney took over, it took a number of years for Kathleen Kennedy to look at the fan base, look to see what they wanted, and to greenlight season 7 of the show to wrap it up. And in the process of that, they did 4 seasons of Rebels and 2 seasons of Star Wars Resistance. Both of those were Dave Filoni created. Resistance, I feel, got shafted early. I really do. I feel it got shafted early because of Clone Wars Season 7. They did Resistance. Filoni was working on it. It was based on his grandfather being a World War II fighter pilot. And then they were like, hey, we need you to head back over and finish up Clone Wars. And he's like, okay. And then that show just kind of went away. They just kind of ended it. And that means more or less that the animation side of things over at Disney, over at least at Lucasfilm, are not faring as well as they would like. And I even though like the Clone Wars series finale, the Siege of Mandalore, was epic, and every Star Wars fan worth their salt absolutely loved it. But the problem, though, is that it didn't reach social media critical mass like Baby Yoda did, like The Mandalorian did, and it didn't keep people as engaged. And I think part of that reason, if you want my honest opinion, was because there was a lot of Clone Wars to get through in order to get to that season 7 finale. And not all of it was good. If you watch it in the chronological watch order, it's actually really solid, but there's a lot of arcs that go nowhere. There's a lot of episodes that just end up as duds, and ultimately it's not as compact and compelling in some ways as it should be, as Clone Wars was in the first and third arcs of season 7, with that middle arc being so bad. Oh my God, how did you go from the Bad Batch in the Siege of Mandalore to whatever the hell it was with Rafa and Trace? Like, holy crap, that was not interesting at all. However, so the way I'm hearing it is, if this is true, no, I'm sorry, I want to clarify. The way I'm thinking is, if this is true, and they are working on a Caleb Dume show, and they want to do Ahsoka as a backdoor pilot with season 2 of Mando, and they're investing heavily in Star Wars on a television side of things, because right now it's the only thing making Disney money is Disney Plus, and people do want Star Wars. They do want a lot of Star Wars, but they really want The Mandalorian and things based around The Mandalorian, and Disney fully understands that. So I do think for right now that Filoni's out of the animation game, and he's going to be focusing on world building, character development, writing, and directing live action. Although in season 2, I wouldn't be surprised if he directs the first episode that we see Ahsoka Tano in, because he's only directing one episode next season. Just one. They got a bunch of other different directors, but just that, he's only doing one of those episodes. And so is Favreau. So again, we don't know anything about that yet. That's going to come in the next couple months. But looking at the rumors and what Disney's up to, and their financials and everything else, and especially involving some of the behind-the-scenes drama that's been floating itself around between Kathleen Kennedy and Bob Iger, and that war and that butting of heads right now, it's safe to say that Disney's going to be backing the live-action Star Wars on Disney Plus, because they want to keep those memberships coming in month to month, and they probably noticed that there was a sizable or significant drop in subscribers after Mando season 1 ended. However, they now have 55 million paying subscribers, so that doesn't really matter as much anymore, but they probably still realize that Star Wars is like the one brand that they have that they can really build on Disney Plus, and I feel like it's the only one so far that they really are building on Disney Plus. I know there's other things like the High School Musical and a few other things here and there, but those are, those are for a different audience of people. But Star Wars, they want to tie into Galaxy's Edge because that's $1 billion park, or a $2 billion parks if you think about it. And they've also got Galactic Star Cruiser coming out next year. So they need to bank on Star Wars, and that is going to mean getting people in on Disney Plus to watch the content there. That's my thoughts on this. I could be right. I could be wrong. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think Lucasfilm Animation is dead for right now? Do you think they're going to put all their eggs in one basket, being Disney Plus? Do you think that the Taika Waititi movie is going to be the Kevin Feige produced film that we were hearing about from August of last year? These are things I'm curious to know, and I still want to know if you guys are digging Star Wars. Let me know down in the comments. I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day, and remember, may the Force be with you always.